Look, I just closed a $28,000 wholesale deal. Took about 73 days to do the whole thing. And in this video, I'm going to show you from start to finish exactly how we did it from finding the deal to actually getting it to the closing table. You can close your next one too in the next 90 days. And that's exactly what I show folks how to do. And let's jump right into it. A lot of times people ask me, where do you find these deals? Because I've heard about wholesaling, I've heard about getting stuff done, but I tried it and I just can't find any deals. Do I need to cold call? Do I need to text blast? Do I need to do all this ringless voicemail and everything like that? And I'm just going to tell y'all how this deal worked, and then you can kind of take what you can get from there. This property came from a off-market buyers list that we send direct mail to every single month. We send direct mail to people's homes, letting them know that we can give them a cash offer on their home. And so some people call in and they tell us to buzz off and stop mailing them. Some people call in and they try to just find out how much we'll give them. They have no intention of selling. And then some people every now and then call in and they actually have a property that they want to get rid of and they want to seriously book an appointment and have us go out and make an offer. Most wholesalers hunt deals, they're cold calling. We wait for deals to come to us using direct mail. So, not the only strategy that we use to get deals to come to us, but this particular deal came from sending mail and waiting for someone to call us. Also, because I have a real buyer network and I have a disposition process that works really well, once a deal comes to me, I can sell that deal to other investors and make a fee for selling that deal to other investors. And so this property was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Dallas, Texas. The seller wanted to sell the property for around 122K. We ended up giving them 78,000. That's just kind of the real numbers of it. When we looked at the property, we offered them less than they were asking. And the ARV of this property, I think for the end buyer was going to be about 195. It's a pretty heavy rehab for this property. And so, how do you get somebody to sell you a property for 78,000 when they're asking for like 110 or 120? This is how I did it. Okay. So initially, I always offer less than I'm actually willing to pay. Okay. I suggest that you do the same. Offer less than you're actually willing to pay. This is going to tell you what the appetite of the seller is. It's going to tell you how desperate they are, how motivated they are. It's going to tell you their time frame. Do they just hang up on you and say no, or do they adjust their offer down to where they're actually going to take advantage of the situation and maybe see you as the opportunity to help them as a buyer? Usually, what happens for us if you build rapport with the seller is that the seller is going to counter, right? And normally they're going to counter with something lower than what they asked for the first time. This will usually sound something like, no, I couldn't do that, but I could do this. Or they might say, no, 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 I could never do that. The lowest I'm willing to take is this. Okay. When they give you the number and they say it's the lowest that they can take, okay, I want you to keep in mind that's the lowest that they will take today. Most of the deals that we do, we end up talking to sellers over and over again. We don't actually get the property on the same day as the initial conversation. So we keep track of the number that they're willing to take today, because guarantee you, as that property continues to sit on the market and not sell, that number will come down and down and down until eventually somebody else buys it, or until we actually buy it. And that's where the wholesale assignment fee kind of lives, is the gap between the price we put it under contract for and what the buyer actually pays, right? And so if we get it under contract, for example, of this property for 73,000 or 78,000, but we sell it to a buyer for more, we make a fee for finding that deal. Okay. Now, here's how we do due diligence with these deals. What we do is we actually get repair bids once we put the property under contract. Or most of the time these days, I'm actually going out and looking at the property. I can generally estimate within 10 or 20% how much it's going to cost. This is the actual method that I use. So I want to know how much it's going to cost. I get multiple repair bids, or I just do the repair bid myself. So for this property, I used 42,000 for the math on how much the repair was going to be. You want to be careful about telling your end buyer that it's going to be a certain amount for repairs, because you don't know. You're estimating if you're wholesaling the property. I also will look at the MLS. We have several tools that we suggest you use. One of them is Propelio. I don't have any affiliation with them, but one of them is we can use Propelio to see what comparable sales are. And that way we're not guessing about the ARV. We kind of have a good idea of what the property might sell for. If it's listed on the market, all fixed up pretty and shiny, because that's what's going to determine what your end buyer is willing to pay. How much money can they actually make when they fix up that property all nice? We're not going to fix all the property up all nice in this situation. We are going to assign our interest in our contract to the buyer. Okay. And we're going to just make a fee for connecting them with an opportunity to flip a property. Okay. In this case, we locked up a buyer for 93,000. Remember, our contract was for 78,000. Okay. And so this is how you really get deals done. And this is how you can make money without actually ever buying the property. And so a lot of our students that are in our coaching community want to get into this business. We teach them this strategy first, because if you know how to find deals off market and how to negotiate with sellers, all the rest of real estate becomes a disposition game. Can you sell it afterwards? Can you get rid of it afterwards? But if you buy right, that's where you make your money. Okay. So the deal math, the buyer offered 93,000. We got it for, I believe, 65 to 68,000. So our wholesale fee is somewhere between 25 and $28,000. And it took us about 73 days to go through the process. The buyer was pre-qualified. We vet the buyers. We teach you how to do this inside the community, so you make sure you're not dealing with people that are wasting your time. And so, I think about wholesalers that I've talked to where their deals sit on the market for 6 months, or they put something under contract and it doesn't sell. And here's why. They don't really have a buyer's list, right? They're posting on Facebook, they're putting it in groups, they're hoping that they find a buyer, but they got something under contract. Either they cost too high, they put the price too high, or they just didn't know what they were doing. And so they overestimate the ARV. The buyers know the comps better than the wholesaler. And if your numbers aren't right, the deal is going to die. Like wholesalers that don't know how to price their deals either undersell really good deals or oversell or don't sell bad deals. And so you also don't want to allow people to have too many contingencies, right? Buyers want a clean contract. And so if you add subject to inspection, or if you say subject to appraisal, guys, that's not wholesaling, that's speculating. This is a business that rewards speed. And so you want to make things quick, fast, and easy for your buyer. This deal closed quickly because we had number one kind of locked up already, right? We had a buyer and we assigned it with a particular buyer in mind. Y'all, a lot of times I'm driving home before I even finalize a contract, and I'm calling a couple people to ask them if this is something they're interested in and at what price before I even lock it in, right? So it really helps if you build your buyers list and build your network, and you really know the price that people are willing to pay for properties before you ever lock things up, because then you've got it sold. Okay. I like to talk about kind of a 3-engine model here, right? Wholesaling by itself is kind of feast or famine. If you do one deal, you get paid once, and then you got to hunt again, right? Inside of our community, we teach you to run 3 engines at the same time. We wholesale some. A lot of you all know this is something I do more often now because I started off with rental properties. Generally, we're making $5K to $25K a deal, okay, on wholesales. We also fix and flip. So sometimes 4 to 6 months go by. We maybe make 20K, 30K, 40K, but we actually do the renovations ourselves. It does require more capital. We have lending partners that we can pair you with if this is something you're interested in. But this goes nice when you can't wholesale the deal, but you can actually do the project yourself. And then we also do some wraparound like notes and owner financing so that some of the deals we just lock up, and instead of doing a rental, like a straight rental, like I used to do a lot of, we'll actually owner finance that property out to someone so we don't get any maintenance calls. We don't have to worry about repairs. We're just kind of making sure that they pay us and then we pay our bank note, and the spread in between is profit. Okay. So this deal funds the next flip, right? If you make 20, 25K on a deal, that's how you get into a flip, where you generally need 25 to 30K to flip a property if you're using some type of financing, or you can wholesale till you have enough cash and then you can flip that way. Notes that I use are going to fund like my coaching. So when I help people that are interested in get starting, I pay for ads using my recurring revenue. And so we teach you how to have diverse income streams, right? Wholesale some, flip some, owner finance some, do some online coaching, help other people along the way. There's a lot of income streams available in real estate. And most people just stop at step one, right? They learn how to wholesale, they do a deal or two, they struggle because they don't have multiple streams of income. But once you systematize wholesaling and you scale in by layering flips, notes, maybe some education, if that's your thing, it could really help you out. So if you want to close deals, if that's you and you want to close real deals like the one I described with fast timelines and clean numbers, we're looking for serious people in our inner circle. Okay, I'm John Crutchfield. If you haven't met me before, check out some of the other videos. You do need capital. You do need commitment. You do need to be ready to execute. Okay, the people that I work with are actually doing deals. We're not dreaming. Okay, but I do want you to apply to get your 90-day plan. There's a link in the bio. You can apply. Y'all, it's not a huge program. I don't work with a ton of people. So usually you're dealing with me directly, and I want to help you close your deal. So comment fast if you're ready to move. Look for the link in the bio. Go ahead and click an application, and you'll hear from me soon. Talk to you later.